Dear Lord, please help us during these trying times and guide us the way forward in the shortest time. And please look after those who are home and getting better by the day. And we pray that you provide us more oxygen so those who do not have can get. And we also pray that please save us from the second variant which is coming in from India. Amen.
Amen. And with that, I'd like us all to kindly together recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? With that, ladies and gentlemen, if you have something to drink, I request you to kindly raise your glass or cup. Alternatively, you can have your hand to your chest as we raise a toast to the President of the Republic of Kenya. To the President. Thank you. And now, before we go towards the announcements, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of many Rotary dignitaries today, actually. And first, I'd like to say welcome to our trustee, Rotary International trustee, Geeta Manek. Welcome. Next, we have Rotarian Praful Devani from India. Would you like to say hello? Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we have our past district governor, Bimal Kantaria, who's logged on.
Hi, President and fellow Rotarians. Great to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. And we have Rotarian Perry, who has logged on, as usual, all the way from America. Welcome, Rotarian Perry.
Greetings to President Ritesh, Ambassador Josephine, and fellow club members, I should say, Club of Nairobi. It's good to see you again, and I send you greetings from my club, New River Onslow, and District 7730.
Welcome. And next we have past President Leah, who's now part of this family at Rotary Club of Nairobi. She's been visiting. I think she's visited almost every virtual meeting we've had this year. Thank you so much, past President Leah. And welcome Rotarian Mudhoni from Rotary Club of Thika. And
Thika West.
Thika West, yes, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like Rotarians to kindly welcome their guests. I'll begin with Mumbi.
Hello, President Ritesh and fellow Rotarians. As always, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to once again introduce to you Shubrika, who has been coming to our club meetings as my guest over the past few months. Welcome, Shubrika.
Hi, thank you so much, Ritesh. Hope all are doing well in these tough times.
Thank you so much. Welcome. And whilst we are waiting for other Rotarians and guests to log on, I'll request Ambassador Dr. Josephine, our Vice President, if you have any announcements you'd like to share with our club members and guests.
Thank you very much, President Ritesh, Rotarians and guests, and of course our special guests from across the pond and also from India visiting us today. I have one or two announcements. First of all, during our last fellowship, we heard from the Honorable Shakil about the issues of integrity and transparency in the House of Parliament. And we resolved to put up a plaque in the House of Parliament that would remind parliamentarians every time they go into debate about business ethics. And Rotarians have one of the oldest and widely printed guidelines on business ethics in the four-way test. By the way, the four-way test was created in 1932 by Rotarian Herbert Taylor. And I'd like to let Rotarians know that today I got a call from Nanny Crystal, wife of late Dr. Eric Crystal, to let us know that she'd be happy to make a special glass window or glass monument with the wording of the four-way test for us to place on the precincts of the House of Parliament. So I have already booked an appointment to visit the House of Parliament with Darren, and we'll be going tomorrow at 11:30. For those who may be available, please give me a shout. Between 11:30 and 12, we should be on the precincts of Parliament. Darren is going to take pictures of possible sites. Share those pictures both with us and with Nani. And amongst us, we should be able to come up with the best site. So we have the choice of actually putting a stand-up monument or doing a window. I'm sure you've seen some of Nani's windows. They're actually very pretty. They are a work of art in themselves. And then once we've agreed on what it is we want, Nani will cost it and let us know how long it will take to place it. She brings her regards. She's delighted at this task, and it brings her memories of Rotarian Eric Crystal's time with the club. She sends her greetings. That's one. President Ritesh, if you indulge me, I'll also let Rotarians know that during the past 2 weeks, we've made lots of progress on the proposal for COVID-19 education. And at this particular time, with the support of President Ritesh and PP Sudesh and others, we are actually primed to receive support from Stanbic Foundation through the Rotary Club of Samawati. The Rotary Club of Samawati is keen to now get into a memorandum of understanding around a partnership with our Rotary Club. So President Ritesh and President Dennis of the Rotary Club of Samawati are in advanced talks about a long-term partnership with that club. And so tomorrow we'll be visiting the site of the University of Nairobi, Department of Community Health and Department of Internal Medicine, where the project on COVID-19 is going to find a home. And hopefully amongst the University of Nairobi, College of Health Sciences, Rotary Club of Nairobi and Rotary Club of Samawati, we can strike up a partnership for the project. It's been a long set of announcements. I just wanted to share that. Thank you very much, President Ritesh.
Thank you very much indeed, Vice President Dr. Josephine, for these delightful updates. And yes, what a wonderful thing it would be to have a monument, a beautiful memento at the Parliament to mark the 90th anniversary of Rotary Club of Nairobi. That's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, for the business of the day, we have our own club members and two past country chairs, Dr. Salome Gitoho and past President Kamal Sanghani, who are our speakers today under our legacy project. This year being the 90th anniversary of Rotary Club of Nairobi, we decided to interview our club members, and it's part of a legacy project in order to document their journeys in Rotary and to share more about their insights towards where they think we can actually better certain avenues within Rotary. So I'd like to introduce, although no introduction is actually necessary. First, we have Dr. Sally Gitoho. And Rotarian Sally is an author, mediator, trainer, facilitator, lecturer, and consultant in HR, leadership, governance, and organizational development with over 30 years experience. In Rotary, Dr. Sally has served as Rotary International Representative to UNESCO from July 2020 to date, Rotary International Representative to UN Habitat from 2015 to June 2020, Assistant District Trainer 2019 to 2020, the Chair of Rotary Day at UN in 2018. That's the only time Rotary Day at UN has actually been hosted in Africa. The Country Chair of District 9212 Kenya, 2014-2015, Country Trainer 2013 to 2014, faculty member of Rotary Leadership Institute, assistant governor of District 9200 between 2012 and 2013, and District 9212, 2015 to 2016. And she was our president at Rotary Club of Nairobi during the Rotary year 2011-2012. Dr. Sally is married to Rotarian Isaac Gitoho of the Rotary Club of Mutaiga, and they have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. So kindly do give a warm welcome to Dr. Sally.
Thank you. Thank you.
And welcome, Dr. Sally. And she has the most beautiful smile, I must add that as well. And now it's an honor and privilege for myself to introduce also our past country chair and past President Kamal Sanghani. So past President Kamal Sanghani has been the Country Emergency Response Committee member 2014 to 2015, End Polio Now Committee Chair 2014 to 2015. He was our club president at Rotary Club of Nairobi during the same year, 2014-2015. Immediately thereafter was country chair for District 9212 Kenya, 2015-2016, and district secretary 2016-2017, zone membership coordinator for Central Zone 2017-18. He's also been club president of Rotary Club of Nairobi Peponi 2018-2019, and now is proudly back at his home club, Rotary Club of Nairobi, serving humanity as always. So welcome to past President Kamal.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to welcome Dr. Margareta Wagasheru, who together with myself and Rotarian Rashmi embarked on this wonderful project, which is a legacy project. Dr. Margareta, congratulations on all you're doing in order to document all these stories. And now I'd like you to kindly question, although not interrogate, our wonderful past chairs.
Well, I'm happy to assist with you, President Ritesh. I think we'll start we'll ask both parties questions, but we'll start with the lady. Dear Dr. Salome, could you talk to us about your service as past president of our club? What were some of the most memorable moments of your activities when you were our president? Can you recall? Sally.
Thank you, Margareta. Thank you, President Ritesh. Allow me just to acknowledge, since I'll be speaking in the capacity of country chair and past president, allow me to acknowledge my friends, RI trustee, Dr. Gita Manik, and my DG when I was country chair, Dr. Bimal Kantaria. I'm so happy that you can be here because we had a great year. So greetings everybody, fellow Rotarians and friends. Allow me, with age I'm finding conversations a little difficult, and I have come to believe of the power of pics. Allow me just to run through a few screenshots so that we can, it will be very fast, don't worry. Believe you me, I don't believe it also, that was me. That was my board in my year. Some of the things, home hospitality we had in the year that I was president, just shout if you don't, if I'm not coming through. That was my DG when I was president, that is Eric Kimani. Some of the speakers we engaged in the year that I was president, engaging new generations, all those up there were new Rotaractors. Then I got to an opportunity to be Mama Christmas at Don Bosco Home with President Wangari. That's still Mama Christmas at Don Bosco Home. My friend Gita and Jandai Fraser in the Rotary Institute. When you're in Rotary, you go places with our own President Uhuru. Getting close again with my friend Gita, I got to present the pin that Gita was going to pin on the president. A moment for Kamal and I, we got the certificate for Rotary Kenya Country Office, DG Bimal, PDG Bimal, you remember this. As president, our club got to host President Kalian Banerjee when he visited. That one was the same earlier of the president. Now this was as country chair. This was the time when Kenya was moving to the digital migration, and our club got the opportunity to host this important talk. In my year as president, we also hosted UN in World Understanding Day. We had a peace tournament with the youth. This was the presentation of the trophies then. The guests present. This was the dinner, RI president, and this was the foundation dinner. Turkana Famine Relief, flagging off the troops. A project that was very interesting, swim marathon in the year. Of course, we all know about SCORE. This was all swim marathon, the band coming in, swim marathon, the winners, the participants. Then RI convention in Thailand with past President Ann, RI Institute breakfasts. Then this was a great PDG Bimal and Kamal, past President Kamal, you remember we painted Nairobi red on this day when we walked all over town. Since Kamal will be coming after me, I don't know whether he got this picture, but these are some of the moments that we get as Rotarians. That was Kamal and the late Mama Sarah Obama. So I think I'll use that as my speak and stop there because those were the highlights or some of the highlights of my year. Thank you, Margareta. I'll respond to the next link.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Salome. That was beautiful. And you simplified and clarified and used your time most efficiently. Now, past President Kamal, may I ask you a similar question? What are some of your most memorable activities and moments when you were a past president, when you were the president of our club?
Thank you, Margareta. Thank you, Margareta. As President said, I was inducted into the year 2006-2000 when Simon Lee was the president of our club. And at that time, we were running at, I think, over 100 members. I think we were one of the biggest clubs in the district. So it was an honor and privilege to have joined. But unfortunately, in 2007, November, I lost my father, so I picked up a back seat and was not an active Rotarian at that time. Come 2012, I was called by past President Ann, and she said, "Can I come and see you? I want to talk to you about something." And me being naive, I said, "Yes, come and have a cup of coffee." And you know how Ann is. She doesn't take no for an answer. Otherwise, she just doesn't leave your office. And it was coming to the end of the day, and I wanted to get back home. I know yes to become the president during the year 2014-2015. Little did I know at that time that the district governor nominee was none other than past district governor Dr. Bimal Kansaria. And so you start getting into the stream of things. You've now been pushed into the deep end. You don't know swimming. You don't know you don't have floaters, and Anne is nowhere to be seen because she's finishing a year and handing over to David. What do? You start attending meetings, start attending board meetings with David, and you start getting the ropes of the club. You've been away, but we managed, and we got along very well with David and started streaming up our board. I will now share some slide presentation that I've done with, just get it there. Yeah, there we go. Can you see that?
We'd like to continue to send our condolences for that difficult time when you lost your father. That's never easy. President Ritesh, why don't you follow up with the next set of questions?
Yes, I think we'll first have a look at this wonderful slideshow which has been created by Past President Kamal.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Continue, Kamal.
Thank you. So this is my a picture of the Rotary pin, which I think all of us do. We all wear with pride. This is the bell and the gavel, which was bought during my year, a brand new bell and gavel meeting of my year. This is Governor Bimal. He's the first lady of the district, his wife Hero, my wife, myself, my daughter there, who was, I think, only 2.5 at that time, and Sonia, our past member, who was then representing at the installation the Deputy President, William Ruto, who couldn't make it. And then this is my daughter. She sang at the a song of money, which we all believe it's transparency, and that's what we believe in Rotary. This was, we couldn't find, when I was taking over as the president, we couldn't find our charter certificate. And so we wrote to Rotary International, and we got our charter certificate, a copy, and I think it's now lies in the president's hand, nice frame. This is the first meeting with Sally as the country chair, and the Sergeant at Arms was President Elizabeth King Koon was the president-elect, so she was there in that capacity, and obviously myself chairing. This is our first meeting when the late CEO of Safaricom, Bob Collymore, and District Governor then, Bimal Kantari, at that meeting as well, and he gave the light up Rotary. That was the theme on that year to late Bob Collymore. Just a small history, 2 sentences. I was elected president of Nairobi, and Bob got to know that. He promised me that he would be the first speaker at our club, and he made sure that was fulfilled. This club, at this meeting, he assured the district the full support of the Safaricom Foundation, and that's when the district governor took the cue, and we did, I think 7 or 8 clubs got funding from the M-Pesa Foundation for their pet projects. I think I'll ask later on past District Governor Bimal to confirm what the amount was and how many clubs it got. This is with the District Governor then, Bimal. We were the first Rotary international visitors to called. They never had heard of Rotary, so we went there and we talked about polio, and we were trying to break the myth which the church had that taking polio vaccines would hurt you. So we were for the president's name, he was from Rotary Club of Thika, myself, and in the capacity as the polio chair for that year. So we visited Sitam and we talked about polio. This is myself with past Governor Eric and his lovely wife at one of the functions. This is being honored at the end of my year as the district country chair with my district governor then, Teshome, and the incoming district governor, Robert Omwela, past district governor Bimal, and past district governor Eric. This was a ceremony which was being held of Westlands when Robert Omwela was taking over from DG Teshome. So this was DG Teshome's last function, and I was honored here and given a Paul Harris Fellow, and I now stand at 8 Paul Harris Fellows. This is when we visited the East FM with the district governor, again marketing polio. And this is what we were called. The Rotarians are ordinary people, extraordinary, living with extraordinary lives. And I thought this was a good thing that described us on that day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. That's, yes. Continue, President Ritesh. Thank you so much. That's President Kamal.
Actually, I'd like to thank both Past President Kamal and Dr. Sally Gitoho for the wonderful slideshows, which have enabled us to actually see these beautiful photographs. It's true, a picture says 1,000 words, and these pictures definitely are very memorable. I'd like you to share them with us as well towards the end, if possible. I have an interesting question.
You know, our history or our journey, I'm sure Sally will agree with me, and you some time you have so many pictures, but you don't know which one to put up and which one not.
It's a fact. And you know, actually both yourselves have mentioned through the photographs about your year as president, and Past President Kamal, you've also highlighted a bit about your year as country chair. We'll come back to that as well. But I'd like to ask a very interesting question. So tell us briefly about your journey into becoming a Rotarian. So, Dr. Sally.
Thank you, President Ritesh. I owe my being a Rotary member or being a Rotarian to Dr. Githanga, David Githanga. While working at the Nairobi Hospital, I used to participate in what we called, we had our CSR project. I headed the CSR project, which we had a committee called Charitable Committee, a very funny name. But what it meant is we had various causes. We would have medical camps, we would visit homes. And I think David must have in this interaction. And one time he asked me to join him, to accompany him to the luncheon meetings. Of course, he didn't tell me he wants me to join Rotary. I think he wanted me to see what goes on. And immediately I arrived at the Regency, I was hooked because I found people who were doing what I was doing. Not that I was doing it alone at the hospital, but it was a committee that I was chairing, and we sort of like had we had a limited agenda almost to health and education. But here was a group of very diverse people. So I started attending the lunches, then I learned more and more about Rotary. So by the time he asked me whether I'd like to be a Rotarian, I knew already I was a Rotarian. So, so that was how I got in. And once I got in, I met also Past President Mohammed Rahimtullah. And the first project I went to, of course, is now what we call Sunshine Rally. And let me tell you, if you want to induct, of course, as we all know, if you want to induct new Rotarians, get them into projects. I can see Dr. Beatrice smiling because she knows all this, and that's how you get hooked. And that touches your heart. So I got into Sunshine Rally, which I stayed a couple of years. And along the way, I served in all the committees before I became president in 2011, 2012. Thank you, President Ritesh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sally. And at this point in time, Dr. Githanga is with us. And I'd like to say on behalf of the club, thank you so much, Past President Dr. DG.
For introducing Dr. Salome.
Exactly. And I'll ask the same question to Past President Kamal.
Thank you, President Ritesh. Being neighbors to Sulibai, and so I used to be invited for dinners at his house, and Rotarian Manu would be there as well, and talk about that, you know, we need to send this money to Rotary and that money to Rotary, and they would have these pins on their lapels, and especially Manubai, when he would come to the house wearing his coat. He's always coated. He'd never be without a coat. And that the pin intrigued me. And initially, I thought it was just something for Pirelli tires or Firestone tires because it had a wheel on it. Being a young person, I was a bit shy to go up to Manubai and say, Manubai, what is this pin that you always wear? And what is this rotary thing that you talk about?
Is it Jenny on? I never know when there's a power cut.
One day I took the courage and I asked him what the pin was all about. And he didn't explain to me, and he just said, Suli, bring Kamal to the next meeting so that he knows what we're talking about. And that started my journey into Rotary. I attended a couple of meetings, and Sulibai said, why don't you join Rotary now that you've been coming to the meetings? The first to should I say interrogate or take my interview was none other than past President Darcy, and then which was followed by Omi, late Omi Napal, and if I correctly remember, was David Hutchison. Those three interviewed me, and the first thing I was asked is, are you fit to be a Rotarian? And I said, well, I know what the pin is now, so I think I am fit. And after that, it's all history, and having met and sat with wonderful people and high esteemed people, which I will name later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Margareta, if you can ask the next set of questions.
Yes, thank you. I think continuing with our past history, Dr. Sally, you have been a wonderful liaison with United Nations agencies. And so I wonder if you could share with us some of your experiences, again, your most memorable experiences, liaising with Rotary and the United Nations in your, whether it's UNESCO or Habitat or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Margareta. Yes, Rotary has a very unique relationship with the UN, having been a key player in the founding of the UN. So the UN appoints what we call the Rotary diplomats, and on this call, we have a number. We have Ambassador Dr. Josephine Ojiambo, who's with UNICEF, and what happens, Rotary appoints representatives or ambassadors to various UN bodies or world bodies to represent the interests of Rotary. And what we have found, or what I have found, is that we all serve the same purpose. Our value set is the same, and we have the cause which always seems to be aligned. So between 2015 and last year, I was with the UN. I was representing Rotary at UN Habitat. And in there was a lot of the whole aspect of waste. How do you get the waste? How do you clean up, especially municipal waste and urban development in terms of when we look at aspects of clean water and all that, preventing urban waste getting into our drinking sources. So I must say that before 2018, I did feel a little like a fraud in terms of here I was attending meetings, going for training in Chicago, and not having much to report about until now when the 2018 UN Day came. And I was so happy to get an opportunity to give back, because this was the first time the UN Day was coming to Africa. And I remember when this idea was...
let me get my wire. Yeah, so I can just listen it on.
Mute Manubai, please. I remember when this idea was being floated, we were actually with the RI trustee Gita Manik. Okay, yes, you're really fast on that. Thank you so much. This was the brainchild of the late RI president-elect then, Sam Owori. And it was his dream that as RI president, he would bring UN Day to Africa. And the most obvious choice was going to be Nairobi, where the United Nations office was. And I remember when we were sitting, Director Gita, when we were sitting in that restaurant, I didn't grasp the magnitude of this day. And I thought it was just going to be another meeting. But as we kept on discussing, they were talking about 40 speakers in a day, so many people flying in, RI president was coming in, Director General for UN was going to be there. And each day it started becoming clearer what it was. But I had a wonderful team. Oh yes, that was the best moment. You have brought it. This is my best Rotary moment. Looking at that hall and seeing it full. So the best part of this day was that we were working with the youth and we had great volunteers, and somehow it fell into place. It was successful. Actually, our dean, our immediate past dean then, Ed Footer, did describe it as being one of the best. And that I felt I had paid up for my free trips to Chicago and that we had brought this to Africa. And there I am with Barry Racine receiving a recognition certificate. So that for me, Margareta, this UN Day is the highlight of my service for Rotary in the UN. And a panel discussion there. Yeah, so thank you. Pictures speak. Thank you. These are the great moments of Rotary. Thank you.
Fabulous. Fabulous. You did a wonderful job. I hear about it when I go back to Evanston. I meet Michelle Berg, who reminds me, please say hello to Dr. Sully. We had a wonderful time in Nairobi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, past President Kamal, while you were the district secretary, that's a major role to play in Rotary for the whole district. Please tell us some of your memorable moments as President Kamal. That must have been a fascinating year also. Kamal?
Thank you, Margaret. The journey was a wonderful journey. And during my year as president, the highlight, I had three highlights. One was being the polio committee chair for that year. And we did a flash dance in the middle of the central business district on a Saturday. And you can imagine how much traffic would be at the 4 junctions near the new Stanley.
Wonderful.
We blocked that junction, and with the Rotaractors, we did a flash dance, and we brought in people to know what polio was about. And it was all over the news, and that was my first highlight of the year. The second highlight was when we went to Kisumu to do the first ICAMP in that area, which was gladly assisted by Rotarian Shakil and our honorary Dr. Mukesh. So we did, I think, if my memory serves me right, we did about 350 operations and 450, sorry, at Kisumu. The last highlight of my year as president of Rotary Club of Nairobi is when we got a girl who was blinded through her illness, and she was very bright. Despite her blindness, she could study, and she was very bright. If she had sight, she would much more better in school. So during my installation, my very good friends at the Lions Eye Hospital, that was Dr. S.K. Amin and Lion Dr. Manoj Shah, 5 eyes to the needy that we decide upon as a club. Was from a very poor background. We made sure that she got both her eyes, and she now is running in the top 3 since 2016 in her class. So that was my highlight as president. As country chair, again, there were very many great moments in the district when your district governor is not resident in your own country. And Sally will say that, that time your burden becomes double. But we did a good year with DG Tashone. And again, it was a good year being past district governor Richard Ongwela. But again, my highlight of my Rotary life so far is the End Polio Now walk that we did. All the clubs in Nairobi, we were at that time roughly about 400 people walking, because everybody was allowed to invite friends. So we had 400 walkers going, starting from the University of Nairobi grounds, all the way up to Uhuru Highway, Avenue, and back into the United Nations, UN complex. The University complex. 450 walkers, and we were also pictures of the we're campaign, and we sent that entry to the Guinness Book of Records, but unfortunately we did not qualify because we did not keep a ruler in between the thumb and the fourth finger.
My dear.
We needed to keep a ruler so that everybody was on a symmetrical distance. So we lost out on that. Otherwise, we would be holding the Guinness Book of Records currently. So that was my highlights of my year.
Wonderful. That is fascinating. To transform a child's life with eyesight is such a big deal. We really appreciate. Thank you so much. Over to you, President Ritesh, for your next set of questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Margareta. But before I ask the next set of questions, what I'd like is, we have received a bit of a highlight from our past country chair, Kamal, about his year as country chair, highlighting the team he's worked with. Our past country chair, Dr. Sally, kindly share with us your memories of your year as country chair.
Thank you, President Ritesh. I had a super DG, that is Dr. Bimal Kantaria, and I think one of the things the DGs do is they have the club visits, and I remember DG Bimal Kantaria at that time finished his round of visits to the country in record time. Then we had so many inductions. There are so many clubs that were being chartered. So we had another round to go, and these were Rotary clubs and Rotaract clubs. So one of the things I remember is chartering new clubs, attending the charter ceremonies, bringing them together. I know DG did about 3 rounds, but the second round I was telling the DG, oops, I think, yeah, we visited. But we got quite a number of clubs chartered, and the highest contribution then in terms of TRF I think that was the highest under DG Vimal Kantari. I think it was about $1.2 million then. And so I think that's that. And this was because of the offer that the DG made. So obviously credit to the DG when, as Kamal has mentioned, country chair, you belong to a country, you serve a country, but most of the work and most of the direction and strategy is being driven by the DG. So I do acknowledge that bit. Yeah, I think that's the highlight, the growth of Rotary in the year. Thank you. Oh, sorry, one more. We did have the RI visit again. I know why I'm forgetting this. This is RI President-elect Gary Wang visited. He had come the year before as president-elect, that he came again as now as president. And I accompanied them to Nakuru as assisting First Lady Corina Wang. And unfortunately, I took a fall and I had to have a cast on my right hand for about 3 months. I'm supposed to have been supporting the First Lady. She ended up supporting me, so there was a bit of a funny moment there. But sometimes Rotary makes you know your own country. And in one of the visits, what I remember is they took us somewhere in Babadogo, deep in, somewhere. I live in Nairobi, but I didn't even know there was such a fashion factory there that serves all the movie stars. I live in Nairobi, I had never been there, shame on me. But that's what Rotary does for you. It takes you to all the important places. So the visit of RI President Gary Wang is another highlight of that year. Thank you very much.
So sorry about the injury. Oh, goodness.
President, if I can just show one of the pictures here.
Yes, please.
Number of people, we were part of the group when we were doing the polio walk.
Wow.
And
That's
this
fantastic.
And this is a highlight of the picture. This one here is, I'm not good at directions. Here we are. This one where past District Governor Mohammed Abdallah is with a small child holding his hand. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. This picture came into the newspapers as well. And past District Governor Mohammed Abdallah held on to his hand from start to finish. And the boy really enjoyed, and he told his mom that he wants to become a Rotarian once he finishes.
Thank you for sharing such a wonderful memory. Past President Kamal, since we heard about the year of country chair, which Dr. Sally had, and you have shared with us some highlights, but have you jogged your memory? Anything else you'd wish to share of your year as chair?
Well, one of the things during my presidency as well was when I got the opportunity to accompany then District Governor Bimal to Ethiopia during his visit to Ethiopia, and I went as the president of the oldest club. That's how I got to go with him. And it was such a wonderful memories that I've got visiting Ethiopia, and they have so much high regard for Rotary Club of Nairobi per se in the district, because they feel that we are mother and father, and you know how the Ethiopians are in terms of their hospitality, wonderful hospitality, and but as going back in history, my visit, another experience for when I was the district secretary was organizing the centennial celebrations of Rotary International. When we had late Salome, was then the Rotary International president-elect, and him and his lovely wife joined us in celebrating we celebrated a lovely dinner. And highlight for me was like Sally got to go with the Rotary International President to Nakuru. I had the opportunity or escorting him with the other past district governor and then district governor Richard Omela to Mombasa. And the moment we landed there, my God, I thought I was in a presidential visit. We were swift out of the plane. Cars are waiting for us at the tarmac, the airstrip, and sirens blaring, and you're now in a motorcade. And I said, "Oh, this is wonderful life of Rotary." And then once you reach back home to Nairobi, you realize, hold on, now you have to drive the car on your own. So that's one of the lovely highlights. But it taught me a lot of things. Spending time with our then Rotary International President-elect, Sam Owori. He was an encyclopedia of Rotary Foundation. Got to learn so much about the foundation, and it taught me that giving pays. More than anything, look after people. And here I want to acknowledge one of our visitors here today, Leah. She was the organizing person at Mombasa. She was appointed by the district governor, Richard Omela, then to organize Mombasa event. And she organized it so wonderfully. And even there, we had all the past district governors from the Coast Province there. And we caught up on good times and the old times of Rotary. And when we sat down in the evening and they talked about their days in Rotary, my God, I felt so embarrassed that I should have joined earlier on and enjoyed what they've enjoyed so far. But again, thank you, Leah, for giving us that opportunity to be there and making it a great memorable event that I have etched in my memory. So during my district secretary, that was organizing the centennial celebrations for Rotary was one of the highlights. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right, Past President Kamal, about that wonderful event. I remember it very clearly and vividly that November. And Dr. Sally and yourself both have a lot in common. Like when you're mentioning holding that event and hosting the incoming RI president at that time, Sam Owori, and also at the same token, Dr. Sally mentioned how she actually brought his vision to life with Rotary Day at UN. This is incredible. And now over to you, Dr. Margareta.
Thank you, President Ritesh. Sally, Dr. Sally, I wonder, you mentioned as you were discussing the United Nations that they shared qualities with Rotary International and our club. I wonder if you could maybe elaborate and describe some of those qualities and which ones were most relevant to you in your experience with Rotary.
Thank you, Margareta. If I can just look at the focus of my current organization, which is UNESCO. When I look at their areas of focus, let's just start by, first of all, their areas of focus. We seem to have similar areas because they have an aspect of environment, they have conflict, they have mother and child, and cultural exchange, education, water and sanitation, promotion of peace. So when you look at, those are the programs. Well, the best part is when you have a common agenda, and then Rotary now has the aspect of the values and aspects like even our four-way test. It makes our relationship easy because one does not have to introduce a topic or introduce an agenda. We already on a common front. If I can just take this year's, in February, we're celebrating International Day of Education, which is a common activity with UNESCO. And attending that webinar, there was so much that cuts across Rotary and UNESCO. When we look at cultural exchanges, we earlier on this call, Director Gita was talking about having cultural exchange with our Rotarian Praful from India, and we can do that online. Now that's something that is common. When we look at aspects of literacy and education, again, common agenda. So those are the things that bring us together. When we had the UN Day, we interacted with the UNICEF because our theme was around the youth. And finding a partner in UNICEF was very easy because we share common ideals. And I think this is because Rotary was instrumental in setting up the UN. So it makes delivery of a mandate very easy. So those are some of the common aspects. Thank you, Margareta. Did I freeze? And if I can just take a moment to acknowledge another country chair who is in the call, that is current country chair Saum. Since we are talking country chair, happy that you're on this call, Saum Siraj. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sally. Yes, we'd like to recognize country president or chair Saum. Welcome, welcome. So, past President Kamal, I think you have and also some things to tell us about what really attracted you to Rotary in the first place in terms of its qualities and attributes. I'm sure it wasn't just people that you met. So what sort of qualities about Rotary appealed to you especially, past President Kamal?
Again, I will emphasize on what Sally has said, is the four-way test. I think that is very important, and that has taught me a lot of things in life by following the four-way test. And not only during our Rotary workings, but also during our personal lives. Also, what also attracted me is that when we do our charity work in Rotary, it's always, one, it's transparent. Two, whatever money that you give, 99% is reaching to the recipient. So that is what is very crucial to me, that whatever your money or services that you give, it should go to the recipient. Whereas if you compare other institutions, with all due respect to them, there are certain charges or levies that they have in between. So every dollar that you give, and it's there in the public domain, that Rotary is the only organization which takes 99% of their funding to the recipient. So that's what attracted me to Rotary and to serve in Rotary.
That's really interesting. You brought up the aspect of contribution, financial contribution. Thank you so much, because giving is something people are working hard for their economy, for their financial livelihood, and for you to explain that actually there's a way of giving and philanthropy through Rotary that is it makes one feel really worthwhile because our projects are valuable. Thank you so much. Over to you, President Ritesh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Margareta. And I would like just to prod a bit further into an aspect of your lives, which is a bit beyond Rotary, actually, because I'm privileged and honored to know that you do a lot more for humanity outside Rotary as well. And I'd like to just ask you, Dr. Sally, what roles have you undertaken in the humanitarian field outside of Rotary?
Thank you, President Ritesh. Sometimes it is difficult to define what is humanitarian because just by nature, some things we should do, and yet we start saying that it is sort of like a service. Most of the humanitarian work revolves around Rotary and church and community. So I am involved in the Starehe schools, and I see our immediate past chairman, Dr. Manubai, is here, the Starehe girls. I'm on the board of trustees and also on the board of management. This means I get engaged in both the girls' school and the boys' school. The boys' school is largely ceremonial, but in the girls' school is active participation in decision-making, fundraising, and mentoring the girls. From the church front, I work with the deaf in the agenda of inclusivity in the special ability ministry. I work with the deaf. I learned sign language, basic sign language. And this is because I had never thought of myself as a person who discriminates. If you had told me that I discriminate, I would have said a big no. But when I started interacting with the deaf, I realized that I had actually been judging and had also actually been discriminating. You see, when you work with the deaf, you cannot, when you are in the community with the deaf, you cannot tell somebody is deaf. Unlike when somebody is blind or when they have a physical disability, which you can see, there's nothing to see about the deaf. And I know at times that is someone saying, why is this person not talking? What kind of attitude is this? The attitude was me, because I later learned this person was deaf and I'm the one who was excluding. So in my work with them, I work a lot to include them. So like for instance, even at the UN Day, I ensured that they came on board. We brought interpreters there so that they are not left out. So anything I'm involved in, I really try to bring an aspect of sign language. I also did bring them to the club. I did conduct a quick lesson in our club just on basic sign language courtesy signs. So that's and then of course I do a lot of mentoring in the community for young people, both young men and women. Thank you. That's the little that I do. Thank you.
It's not little at all, but thank you for all.
Little.
And I'd like to ask the same question to Past President Kamal, who also does an incredible amount of service. Past President Kamal, could you share with us what Rotary?
Thank you, President Ritesh. Yeah, I agree with Sally. Where do you differentiate what you're doing? Is it humanitarian, or is it something part of your daily life? But for me, one of the humanitarian services that I give is my time to bereaved families, where I organize and I arrange for the funerals. And now with this COVID happening in our country, I'm doing so much. I think it's averaging about one a day. So that's the service that humanitarian service that I provide in my other life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Margareta, over to you.
Well, I think our time is running out, but I wanted to know, I think you covered Sally. Sally, I think there are still more activities because you have a family. And I would be curious to find out how your family deals with your busy life, because we know that from what you've told us today so generously, you're a busy lady. So how is your family coping with this very busy, beautiful woman?
Thank you, Margareta. There's a strategy there. make sure they're in Rotary. so what I did is, Isaac is a Rotarian, he's an active Rotarian. And therefore, when I'm talking Rotary, he knows what I'm talking about. Most of the time, he's part of it. We did try to get our sons engaged. In fact, one of our sons is a charter member of Madaraka, but I think he fell off. So the key thing is keep them engaged to know Rotary. We also used to have, these days not much, but we used to have a lot of home hospitality where Rotarians come home and they get to know by seeing what Rotary is. So I think engaging and being involved together. For instance, if you're going to travel for a conference or a convention, it makes it easier. So I think for me, the trick is engaging. Thank you.
That's a good trick. That's a good trick. I'm sure he's very proud of you. That is for sure. We are. Now, Past President Salim, could you tell us how your family copes with your busy life as a Rotarian and as a philanthropist and as a very busy business person as well?
Thank you, Margareta. I've just been Christian Salim, which I'm proud, at least. He's a very good Rotarian. No, it's okay. It's all right. It happens. My wife, unfortunately, didn't join Rotary. She had enough of Rotary when I was the president. But my children, my daughter especially, and people who attended the installation night will agree. And some of the functions that she attended, my daughter is a Rotarian already. She pushes me, Papa, we must go. So she was my support base of attending Rotary functions and doing things about Rotary together. But apart from that, my wife, my mother, they never said no to my support system. Whenever I said we're hosting this dinner or that dinner, or we're hosting people, Rotarians, they never disagreed. They did with a smiling face. I don't know what happened behind my back, but they always gave a wonderful hospitality. I know Sally's been there, Ritesh has been there, Manubai has been to the house. So, and unfortunately, and I promise once this COVID is eliminated and we're allowed to go home, people's houses, my house will be the first to host a Rotary home hospitality. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm sure your family is very patient, and we appreciate. We're so grateful, and so grateful that you could be with us here today. It makes a big difference to our Legacy 90 project, which is honoring our club over 90 years. And especially we're grateful that our president initiated this project because it really illuminates people like you and Dr. Sally to see how marvelous Rotary really is in practice. Back to you.
Thank you so much. I think I will just ask one final question before we go towards a vote of thanks. And this is an important question since our club has now turned 90. And the question is, first with Dr. Sally, that what would you like to share regarding our club's legacy? It's an open-ended question, but what would you like to share about our club's legacy? It could be a statement, it could be you know, where you see us going forward, how you'd like to see some changes or improvements, or just your experience.
Thank you, President Ritesh. Having been third to be chartered in this region and therefore being great-grandmother to so many Rotary clubs, celebrating 90 with such a unique project like tree planting and having survived and having such a vibrant session of virtual meetings in a difficult time, it just goes to show the resilience that we have, that we are still going strong. And actually, we broadened our horizons. On the call, we have people from India, we have from the US, and that's and in terms of categories, we have Rotaractors, we have Rotarians, we have people in the clubs, district, international offices. So I think we should maximize on this resilience to take us to the next 90 years. And all the best, RCN. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. All the best to RCN indeed. And definitely we are going to go from strength to strength as a club, especially due to the incredible membership we have. We are blessed to have so many active past presidents who are the lifeblood of the club, and also all the energized new members. So the same question to you as well, past president Kamal.
Thank you, President Ritesh. Yeah, a lot of clubs do look up to us. You know, we used to have this green Rotary Day. I don't know if you know about it, but I think because of COVID, it's gone underground. And one of the members, I forget her name, Sally, do you remember the lady who used to?
Dorcas.
Dorcas, and Dorcas was very active in that. And I think that's something that we should, again, as Sally has said, we should take up. If we're doing the Karura run on a Sunday, I'm sure we can meet up and social distance and do something, planting trees, and at least have a meet up like that. And that is something which I feel will make us get together again and also do a bit of support to nature. Also, we are, I know our average age of our club is on the higher side because of our membership. But if we can, you know, meet up like what we did at the Red Ginger, but again, we can meet up in a bigger hall and socialize on a double the distance. I know Beatrice was there, Jocelyn was there. More than the meeting, I think people really enjoyed seeing people physically. And we can have Beatrice there, we can have David there. They can come with their stethoscopes and their thermometer guns, or we can bring our own thermometer guns, and we can ensure that we're all safe and sound. I think that's something that I would like to see for our club. Again, not putting the older generation to risk, especially with what I've seen in the past. So, but this is something that our younger members should do. This is where we'll be able to exchange more ideas for projects, exchange more ideas for how our club can grow from where it is now. And under the circumstances, President Ritesh, you've done wonderful. There are some clubs in the districts who have become stagnant, but you have kept the momentum going. You have kept the engine hot and not getting it dry. And the steam is always there. You're always, like the steam locomotive. If you don't put any coal onto it, it loses the steam, it loses the momentum. But you kept on moving, you kept the steam high, and I wish you all the best for your next couple of months. And I'm proud that Jocelyn is taking over from you, having known Jocelyn and the family. She will definitely keep the fire burning as well. So that's what I'd love to see from our club. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Past President Kamal. And yes, I'm very grateful for the incredible support from the club members during this Rotary year. We've worked hand in hand together, and we will continue to do so, because at the end of the day, this club is in our hearts. And I will request Dr. Margareta if she has any closing comments before we go to a vote of thanks by Vice President and President nominee, Ambassador Dr. Josephine. So, Dr. Margareta?
Oh, thank you so much. I want to second what Past President Kamal said. that we're very grateful to Ritesh for keeping the momentum going this year. And I think it's wonderful that our club has such marvelous members. I think it's past 2:00, so I would love to have hear the vote of thanks from our past president, Anne. Thank you.
Yes, so I'll now call upon Vice President Ambassador Dr. Josephine, who's also a president nominee, to kindly give a vote of thanks to our wonderful past presidents, Dr. Sally Gitoho and Kamal Sanghani.
Thank you very much, President Ritesh, fellow Rotarians and guests. It's indeed a privilege, nothing more than a privilege and honor to place on record our appreciation for the wonderful sharing we've received this afternoon from past President Salome Gitoho and past President Kamal Sanghani. It really is it's a privilege. Before I do that, I just want to thank President Ritesh for his foresight in putting this session in place to commemorate our 90-year anniversary. And as you have heard, a 90-year anniversary marked by a year of resilience, vibrant meetings, and absolutely wonderful fellowships, even the C run, the Corona run. And then I want to just say something briefly about our host, Margareta. Thank you, you've been a perfect host. Now, before I actually give us some context in terms of the vote of thanks, I want to quote a writer, Balaji. Balaji says, humanity is not just about showing passion and empathy to each other in times of need. It's about regarding love in high esteem and kindness in all walks of life. As the old saying goes, humanity spreads across the roads we travel, in the places we dwell, and in the people we meet. And I've heard that when I listen to the sharing from both past President Sally and past President Kamal. So really, as Rotarians, we are awestruck. First of all, we're awestruck at the passion that exudes from your journeys. You know, what has attracted you to Rotary in the first place, and the values that have sustained you over the years, the enduring values of Rotary. And each one of your journeys has challenged us. We've heard and reflected on issues around health, ending polio, and the issue of restoring eyesight. We've listened to the role of CCs, country chairs, and the supportive role you played to DGs, and tongue-in-cheek, the support one of you got from the First Lady. We've heard about visits abroad to the United States, visits to Ethiopia, and the reverence every time you landed on the ground, and the learnings you brought back. And then we've heard about celebrations, a centennial celebration, for example, and the pomp, and the Rotary Day at the UN, and the pomp and the presence of Rotarians as a large family around those events. And we've heard about shared areas of focus between Rotary and the UN. And we've heard about Rotarians of the past, some who are now rested, like late Sam Owori, whom has been described as an encyclopedia about the Rotary Foundation. We've heard about Leah and the fireside chats. And then we've heard about the sterling role of Bimal Kantaria as a PDG, as a DG during his year. Then we've heard about the cultural exchange, and it's great that today we even have the Rotary clubs from India represented. Then we've heard about Rotary's special ability to directly target the beneficiary with resources, something that others don't have. You've taken us through mentorship and how you've mentored young people and continue to do so, and mainstreaming vulnerable people. And Sally's even told us she learned how to contact or to speak in sign language. We've heard about the church and reflections of engagement on the church from both Kamal and even from Sally. And Sally has even gone a step further and told us how to keep the family engaged. Those are just reflections of what we shared. And that's why I said at the beginning, we are awestruck. Indeed, there's very little we can add in terms of saying thanks, except that it's our challenge now to continue to rise up to the passion that you have exuded and to live lives as Rotarians in the manner that you continue to do. Thank you for sharing.
Wow, thank you, Josephine. Oof, you covered everything, my dear.
Thank you.
We're so grateful. This was a wonderful summary of our hour together. Thank you, President.
And thank you so much. And I'd just like a moment each to call upon some individuals to kindly share their thoughts. I'd like to call upon our past president, Dr. Manu Chandaria, if you'd like to say something. Sorry, you are on mute. That was a wonderful vote of thanks, Ambassador Josephine.
I think more of such discussions would be very interesting, because it would show up a road to the new Rotarians, how the people moved. So I think it's an interesting, whoever organized it, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. And now I'd like to call upon past President John Concella. President John. He's having problem with his audio. All right. I will now request past President Leah. Do you have something to share? And Dr. Beatrice.
Well, it's a real privilege to be in the company of such amazing human beings and Rotarians. I am truly in awe of the example that is set for those of us who are youngsters in Rotary service. And we realize more and more that the shoes to fill are humongous, they're massive, but we're inspired and urged to move on, because we also recognize, as past President Kamal, you mentioned that we are ordinary people, but we do extraordinary things. And so there is a lot of inspiration in that. And I want to just thank you both for sharing. I'm sure there's plenty more that we didn't get round to seeing. So we look forward to more of these opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And perhaps a word again from past President Kamal and Dr. Sally, and we can close the meeting.
Ladies first.
Yes, ladies first.
And insecurity.
Ladies first, definitely. Dr. Sally.
Sorry, what was that? Just a comment?
Yes, please.
No, I can only say I am so proud to be a Rotarian and also a proud member of this club. Rotary is fun, and a moment that Ambassador Josephine and I shared is at the steps of a flight, waiting to receive the RI president with a bouquet of flowers, and a football star, Ronaldo, nonetheless, arrives, and his people think that the flowers are for him, and I have to hide the flowers because his handlers were about to make me present them to him. Such is Rotary, that at any point there is fun and fulfillment. Enjoy Rotary. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Past President Kamal, did you hide some flowers from international football stars as well?
No. I was going to say that if I was there, I would have snatched them from Sally. Rotary is such a wonderful organization, and as Beatrice reiterated, that it's ordinary people living extraordinary lives. And that's what we are. And when you hear about people coming to you with a request, when does somebody think of you, or when does somebody think of Rotary? When they've got high esteem thoughts about you, and they inside themselves, they feel that no, I will never get a no for an answer. That's when they come to you, and when you say, yes, I will do this for you, or I will make your life better for you, the smile on their face is your reward for being a Rotarian. And that's what I feel. When I talked about this girl, I forgot to mention that we also gave one eye to a girl who was only as young as 13 months, and we gave her the eyesight. And I'm in regular touch with the mother, and the mother can never stop saying thank you. And it's not because of me, or it's not because of anybody else, but it was because of Rotary that we were able to give her that eyesight. It's because of what we do and how we are. When does somebody think of giving you any funding to help others? Is because they have the trust in you. And that's what happened here. Somebody trusted us, and we in turn took that trust and gave our trust to somebody else. So that's what Rotary is all about. And then there was another girl who was 31 years old. She couldn't see, and we gave her the eyesight. Again, she's running her own business today. It's because she doesn't have two eyesights, but she's got one, but at least she can run her own, and she can earn her bread and butter for every day, and she's not relying on other people. That's what Rotary is all about, and that's what we should all do. And thank you everyone, my predecessors from my year upwards, to the past district governors, Mohammed Abdallah, Yusuf Kodawala, who were a strength to me during my year, and guidance. Yes, we all presidents have issues during our year. It's not a bed of roses. Even in marriage, even in the politics of today, nothing is a bed of roses, but it's how you compromise with each other. That's what also Rotary teaches you. Today we are 60 odd members in our club. We're not all of the same caliber, we're not all of the same standing, we're not all of the same thinking, but Rotary teaches you to sit down on one round table, 8 people on a round table, and understand each other, understands each other's creed, race, and religion. That's what Rotary is all about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we have a question or a comment from past President Dr. Manu Chandaria. And thereafter, I'm going to humbly request our current country chair, Saum Siraj, to kindly say a few words. Dr. Manu Chandaria.
Kamal, the eye work is being done worldwide by a number of Rotary clubs. I set up the first, in our club, I set up the Kenya eye something, I can't remember the name now. But that was the first that we started in our club. Yeah. And we have done a number of operations to date.
Absolutely, absolutely, Dr. Manubai. And that's a project which is very close to the heart of all Rotarians in this club till today. You called it the Kenya Rural Blindness Eradication Project. Yes. Thank you. And now I will call upon Country Chair, Saum Siraj, to kindly share her thoughts.
All right, family and friends of Rotary, good afternoon. Happy to be here to listen to Dr. Sally and to Kamal. I love this club, always a club that trailblazes. I mean, 90 years, still going strong. For me, that is an amazing legacy for Rotary International that you're exemplifying. We see clubs struggling, but I don't know what the secret is here, because you need to share it out there. Because I sit from a place where I can see a lot is happening with so many clubs. And I just want to commend the past presidents, the past leadership, and Ritesh for keeping it going. And we look forward to seeing this club trailblazing. I am your cheerleader. I really, really get inspired just listening to your stories, seeing the way you do your things, your projects, and I continue wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Country Chair Salome, we are so grateful for your support and guidance. And your
Thank you, Sal.
Thank you. And now that our country chair has spoken, the meeting has to end, right? So with that, I'll read out our attendance for today. It was a wonderful attendance. If we can raise a toast, something to drink, alternatively hand to the chest. I'll just read out the clubs and then we'll toast to Rotary International. We had in special attendance today, Dr. Geeta Manek, Rotary International Trustee, Dr. Bimal Kantaria, our past district governor for Rotary District 9212. We have our country chair, Saum Siraj. We had visiting clubs Bahari Mombasa, Tika West Motaiga, Hurlingham Industrial Area, Rotary Club of Vapi of Rotary District 3060, and New River Onslow, and Rotary Club of Nairobi Central. To Rotary the world over.
Rotary the world over.
Rotary Club of Kisumu is also here.
And Rotary Club of Kisumu. So that's another drink. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, President Ritesh.
Sally, it was so wonderful, taking over from you. I did mention that if you, President Ritesh, if you remember from her slides, she showed you the certificate of incorporation, and that culminated from so many number of years. But during PDG Bimal's time, we managed to get the certificate organized, and Rotary Club of Rotary Kenya Country Office registered, and then came my year to take over, and I had the honors of setting up an office, which we did in Westlands, and it served a lot of purpose. So Sally, thank you very much for that. And during I'm not, with all due respect to the other past district governors, a lot of things were achieved during PDG Bimal's time. Sally will agree.
Super DG.
As being the country chair, you are, especially of a country where you have the most number of Rotarians in our district, 9212. You get to see what the thing on the ground is. And when you don't have an office, you're running from your office or you're running from your house, it becomes very, very difficult. So I was very lucky that we had an office administrator, and you just call and get things done and be on top of things. A lot of other things were put in place during PDG Bimal's time. I think also the council, the district governors council was also put into place, isn't it, Sally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now they have their own council, which they run. So a lot of things happened, and it is now getting into, I think the office made a lot of big difference, and where also the resident DG, when I mean resident, I mean Kenyan DG would use that office to sit and run his district. So it made a lot of difference as well.
Absolutely.